Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, and 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I am also the co-host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Med Plus Care. And being part of that team, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. And I'm very happy about that. Also, I'm a member of the advisory board and also a contributor to the Indie Soup TV Media Network, which is powered by our good friend Dr. Tachi out of the U.S. She's based in Fort Lauderdale. What's Indie Soup Media? Indie Soup Media is independent content creators, but now about almost 40 of them that provide their content on Indie Soup Media and various other platforms powered by Indie Soup Media. And within about 4.5 months, 14,000 subscribers. And this show and all the online conversations I do are on that platform. So, like I say, wow, I woke up this morning and look what I found beside me, Ryan Knight.
Hey, good to
What's
see you. Good
going
to see you, brother.
on, man? Wow, it's been an hour.
It's been definitely a couple minutes, but always good to be in your presence. Always good seeing you. And for those that may have forgot who I am, my name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We support entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in and then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. I am an entrepreneur myself. I run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to your house or your office, clean your cars on the spot.
I missed out on your Saturday offering.
You were in Scarborough, but the great thing is we're doing it again this Saturday. So
okay.
This
Saturday. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Those that might have
chat offline. We're gonna lock that down this Saturday.
Nice.
We're gonna get that done. Good stuff. So before we go any further, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. I want to say thank you. I was pushing to get 1,500 subscribers over the last few weeks. It's done.
Boom.
So nice. I'm going to be doing a giveaway in about a week or two, a little bit over 1,500. So I want to get a little bit higher up. Then we're going to do a giveaway for everyone. So we'll certainly announce that ahead of time. Also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm on, please email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And also join the Discord group. Keep the conversation going in between conversations, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Let's get some comments because they're already here. Fitness IQ, Cam says, Monin. He's also giving Celebrate Emotions to over 1,500 subscribers. Thank you. Giveaway, yes. Say give about a week or two.
Nice.
We do that. Mini on Cam, morning and live. Thank you. Thank you, Mini on Cam, for being in the conversation last Saturday on Primetime Saturday. We'll get to that in a moment. Gotcha. And JJ Mars, good Monday. Good Colorado Monday morning, JJ Mars. How is weather in Colorado? And also, what's going on in your country, especially after this weekend? We'll leave it at that. So we don't have a scheduled friend on today, so it's a mismatch of things. But Ryan, what do you want to? Well, let's say Uncle Ryan.
Hey, yes. Well, I was gonna share my screen real quick, just
Uncle
to give
Ryan.
people an update of kind of what's going on in the world of Ryan. So let me see if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I see pictures. Do you want me to put those up, or you want to highlight one specifically?
So this one.
Here we go. All right.
So niece, my wife's sister, had her baby. So hold on, I want to show my daughter Jasmine getting to hold her.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So little Melody. And then it is also Jasmine's birthday today. So happy birthday to Jasmine.
So just to think that Ryan's doing nothing when he's not on here, he got a lot going on. That's fantastic. Yes. So what hospital was the baby born in?
Oh boy, that was the Mississauga one. What's that called? Trillium?
Okay. Hey, you know what? That's all right. That's all right. So were you there for the delivery, or did you come after?
No. So my wife went down because they only allowed 2 people to really be there. So Tamika's mom and her husband, Darlin, they were there. And then my wife was there for support, able to go and visit when she could. But it was over like 3 to 4 days. So it was kind of like not sure when she's going in. And then so my wife's been, losing a lot of sleep as well, just trying to support. So
3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
She was born on the 12th. Yeah, so was that Friday? Is that Friday? Yeah.
Wow.
So Friday. Okay. And then so Friday also was a hot topic conversation on the Dr. Vibe show.
Yes.
Watching, read the comments. I was like, okay.
Well, okay. So there's a myriad of things we can chat about today. And plus, anyone that's in the chat, please put in if you want us to chat about something or start a conversation. Because one of the things I love about the conversation I host, that when we open it up like that, we like this, it becomes really organic. So last Friday, who saw either live on the replay last Friday's conversation with Brian Duarte, who is an interim vice chair for the BBPA, and Hayton Morrison, who is a concerned citizen? So Ryan did
the quotes up. Like, what did he mean by concerned citizen? Because he didn't seem concerned.
Yeah, and so I'm going to be fully open. Some people contact me. I say Hayden wasn't a concerned citizen; he was just a supporter.
True. Yes.
And they were saying, some people said, "What's he doing on there?" So I understand that. I didn't know what this concerned citizen. And again, I take responsibility on that, saying, okay, what is Hayden's purpose on? And nothing against Hayden, but what was his purpose? So that was some feedback. Do you have any feedback before I give some more sharing?
It was great getting their full statement, because a lot of times things get lost in lawyer speak and text messages and posts on LinkedIn. So I was glad that they were willing to come on, and thank you to Brian Duarte from the BBPA, stepping into, I would say, the fire of people that are concerned about the BBPA. They were pressing in the comments, really trying to dig and get information out. But they did show up. And initially when, Perry Douglas had come on and we reached out to BBPA to say, it'd be great to get your side of the story. And they kind of delayed it. And finally they said, you know what, it'd be good to come on and speak. So I was really happy about that. And I don't know if we got much insight into, I guess, a lot of the allegations, because when you start to get into lawyer speak, you hide behind, I can't really talk too much about the investigation that's going on. But it was good to hear more about the process, like why people's memberships had gotten canceled at that time, what sparked this at the AGM and what had happened on the way through. But reading the comments, it was interesting kind of seeing both sides of the comments.
There was a conversation going on.
There was a full show in the comments.
Yes.
Yeah, so hearing concerns,
there's great hosting a conversation like that, and there's the challenge, because couldn't get everything in.
No chance. Yeah, that is way too many comments.
Yeah, like the conversation just took the conversation, the chat took a life of its own.
Right.
It took a life of its own. So yeah, it was interesting. You could definitely see both sides of the coin, especially in the chat.
One thing that Brian mentioned, which was interesting, is that they felt the conversation in the public changed when there was an allegation of misappropriation of funds, because that's when the BBPA, I guess, felt they had to do a full investigation. I guess getting the lawyer, the letter from the members from the lawyer sparked more of them to kind of, go defensive. And that back and forth with how the members kind of approached the BBPA and then how the BBPA responded, I think that's what's fueling a lot of the animosity. And so there's no true community conversations right now. Like, we can't just call the community to the BBPA, call the members and say, hey, this is happening, let's have a conversation. I feel like that kind of went out the window, where we're not able to just have these conversations amongst ourselves. This is the closest that we got, is a public platform where it's our own community running, Black run, where they can have space to get what's off their chest out. Like, there's really no other media platform that would allow that without it becoming political, that's why I really love doing this show with you, and even the other shows you have that allow people to just come on and tell their story and not feel like they're going to get politically railroaded. So it was great that they came on, because now we can put it up against, the Perry Douglas interview, their interview, and then let people make their own decisions.
Okay, a few more comments here. Let's go. Okay, JJ Mars says, good Monday morning. So good to have you, JJ Mars. Then there's Fitness IQ. Cam goes, congratulations to the new addition.
Thank you. She thanks you as well.
All right. Fitness IQ goes, happy birthday to your daughter.
Thank you.
And then congrats, JJ Mars also. Fitness IQ goes 45. We'll get to that in a few minutes. We're gonna get to that. And then she also says, "Bomba." I think she's talking about the conversation that was last Friday. Yes. Office of Tim Frey says, "Morning, everybody. My apologies, Tim. I couldn't. There were so many comments. I'm sorry I did not get yours on in regards to last Friday. Hope you're doing fine. And Tim, if you want to add anything, your thoughts about Friday's conversation, I will certainly put them up. Well, and then Fitness IQ goes, well said, Ryan. And then JJ Mars says, in Colorado, heat wave is starting to cool here. Nation's political soap opera is continuing, talking about what's going on in America. We'll get to that momentarily.
But beyond soap opera, now it's a full-on scandal episode. Like, it's become a scandal season with what has happened. All these story points happened in Scandal.
Oh my goodness. Getting okay, we'll get your comment in a moment, maybe on cam. We're not going to get up there yet, but want to stay on the BBPA. So, and that's one of the things. So we've had Perry Douglas on in Bart's at one end. We've had the BBPA. So I want to ask the audience who's watching live on the replay, should we try to get both of them together live?
I wonder if that is even possible, but that is an interesting question. Well, that's where, even if you were asked to moderate a debate, community conversation, go to a public forum and then have it so that we're in person. I feel like the next type of conversation should be streamed, but you're able to ask both parties in person. Mm-hmm. So that the audience can be there and actually, feel heard.
Yeah,
I feel something like that.
Do you think that's needed?
100%. I do feel that that's needed. I think we've gotten the political answers on paper and even on the show. Now it's, I don't even know if it needs to be like streamed public. It needs to be people invited to a space to have conversation, and have some sort of resolution come out of it. We can't hide behind, our lawyers said we can't say nothing, and our lawyers and it's just like, that's not the way we resolve things. Like we're learning that from colonialism style, to put everything in lawyers' hands.
Got you. Actually, okay. Fitness IQ says private conversation. Why do you feel it should be a private conversation? Interesting. I'd like to get take on that. I will say that it is one of the most watched conversations I've ever had.
Whoa.
In a long time.
Well, that's why it's so hard to keep up with, because I was trying to keep up with the comments, and I'm like, Dr. Vibe, I felt bad. I was like, there's no way, because it's just like 5 at a time, almost every second we're coming up.
Yeah, well, you've got a burning conversation when people are going back and forth in the conversation, and it's not really related sometimes to what's going on the screen. Like, and there were some people I hadn't seen in a long, like I've never seen in my chat. Some of them I know in my chat have not come on the show before in the comments section. Going, okay, I actually got an email from a member of a major, let's say an African Canadian longtime journalist from a major network commenting to me via email about that conversation.
Was I correct in seeing the daughter of Harry Jerome?
Yes, she came in at the end.
Oh,
she came in the end, and she basically pushed back on a number of things that Brian Duarte was saying.
Oh, wow. Because, that's intense.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned her comments. I'd be very curious. Brian did give out his email address, so I'd love to see what his BBPA email box is looking like the last few days.
Absolutely.
And their Fitness IQ Cam goes, but legally things can't be talked about if there's an investigation. Let's be realistic. Yeah.
Well, and then, hey, give a timeline for how long this investigation is going to be, and then call the community meeting right after. Like,
it should be hopefully in the next few weeks it'll come, and then hopefully there'll be a meeting after.
Right.
In regards to what was decided and what are the next steps. And again, one of the questions that came up, someone was saying that there's rumors that an organization is maybe looking to take over the BBPA.
Oh, what would that look like?
Like
an actual another organization? What? From the Black community? Wow.
I will say I know a little bit about this allegation. Yeah.
Interesting. I was curious. I didn't know that might be possible. That'd be a very interesting perspective.
So we don't know, but Brian did say, and I see on their social media pages that they're getting ready to launch programs in the fall.
Yep. Okay.
So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. So, family who are watching live on the replay, would you like me to see if I can arrange a conversation with someone like a Perry Douglas and someone like a Brian Duarte to come on this platform and maybe do it live or in person, or at least do it virtually, to have their say, and so that I'm a point counterpoint, so to speak. So you tell me if you want me to do it. I can reach out and see if the parties would be interested. Okay, let's talk about this. Look who's here. Roger Dundas. Good morning, Roger Dundas. Hope you are fine and the Dundas is good. Also, Fitness IQ Cam says, I suggested privately because it should be within the members and the community close by to have the opportunity. So are you saying in a publicly, but in privately, not? I don't. I
Similar to like the AGM, where it
yes.
is members invited, so BBPA members, you can have that kind of debate where you have like Perry Douglas and Brian there to answer questions,
Yeah.
but then it'd be recorded so that maybe the oh my gosh, the community can see it
Yeah,
and understand what happened.
maybe that's an idea, having it a
You know?
public, but for BBPA members.
Right, because I think that would be more in line with what the BBPA would be interested in initially. Like, you can't really
Yeah,
have a full public forum without first having the members get to have their say.
true. That's a good. And Fitness IQ says, "Thank you, Ryan." And then she says, "Taras." I don't know what. Oh boy, Fitness IQ Cam. Oh
We're gonna get
my.
a fitness IQ dictionary,
Yes.
morning vibe dictionary,
Yes. Well.
worded by Camille
Well,
and Fitness IQ.
yeah. Well, I'm my new nickname on top of the other traditional one for Fitness IQ Cam, which is KSUILRWFQ. FV is now another nickname for her is Rosie. So
Right.
she knows what I mean by that. All right.
Yes.
Oh, well, see, here we go.
Hmm.
Roger Dundas says,
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to get the members list?
Well, wouldn't they? Well, they would have to put out if a meeting is happening to the members. So I don't think it'd be on us to invite the members. That's the BBPA's role.
Okay.
And I really hope that they do have that list. So that shouldn't be a problem.
All right. Fitness IQ Can goes LMAO in regards to one of her new nicknames, Rosie. And then she says KOK. Yes. Yes. Well, they should have a members list. And again, that was one of the questions that came up too on last Friday. Why did the organization I don't know if it's still down, temporarily took down their membership page. They took it down.
Right. And no explanation was given for that. There was an explanation around why certain members lost their membership, but then immediately they should be able to renew it if they want. And if people
I guess there's stipulations on being a member. So I guess maybe they don't qualify, so they probably wouldn't be qualified to be a member. I don't know.
Oh, you're not a BBPA member?
Are you?
Yes, I am. See, well, I can't think of any specific stipulations other than if they were members that weren't from the Black community. That would be interesting. But as long as you're from Black community, running a business or a business professional, and you pay your dues,
You're good.
I can't think of any reason why the portal would be down, and no answer was given. So,
okay, so here's an update. Roger Dundas says they do have a members list, but so far every member that has requested it has not received it.
oh,
Right.
right.
Intriguing.
Right.
Intriguing. What is the reasoning behind that? Yeah, that is ongoing story.
And I hope it's getting closer to conclusion and it won't be something that lingers too long, because I know PR firms will say you need to get ahead of crisis and shorten it. So I feel like it's been going a bit too long.
Well, you know what? Good morning. Ched Season now says good morning. Good morning, Ched C. Hope you are doing okay. Well, you know what? I guess the next step will be what is the result of the findings. I guess that's what everyone's waiting for. And then what are the next steps after that, post that? It's going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be one of the most interesting resolves in African Canadian history.
Definitely in recent time, yes.
And I think another interesting lens on this, here's a African Canadian organization being judged by, who knows, something tells me the people are going to be making the judgment aren't African Canadian.
Well, if you look at who's doing
Yeah.
the investigation itself.
Yeah, so there you go. So there's a bigger All right. So we are going to take a quick break. Again, Ryan is back, so we purpose now. We don't want any guests when Ryan's back because we don't know when he's coming back. Right. So any conversation topics you'd like us to go with? Fitness IQ goes, by the way, I'm just being an angel's advocate. What do you mean by being angel's
I'm adding that to the dictionary.
Yeah, adding the Rosie Dictionary. Yes. Good stuff. All right. So we're going to be back in a few moments. Have basically open Monday, whatever you want to chat about. There's some things I want to chat about, maybe some things Ryan wants to chat about. There's some questions I have for Ryan on some things that hopefully he'll be able to answer. If not, no problem. We got that. So we'll be back in about a minute and a half on the Morning Vibe, Monday, July 15th in hot, hazy, humid Toronto. Keep it locked.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paige. I am a marketing consultant and the host of More Than a Mom, the podcast. I am here at the Soundwave Summit, and I had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Vibe, and the gems he dropped were unmatched. An accidental conversation really changed my whole plan. And if I had him 3 years ago when I started my consulting career, it would have made a major change. The biggest thing that I learned that I'm taking with me is understanding that I do not have a show, I have a solution. And I think that's something that's not talked about enough. Another thing that really adjusted my mindset was the power of positive language. I was telling him about some of my problems are asking for help. I'm always pouring into other people, but it's hard, and it's a problem that I can't get that same thing in return. And he said, it's not a problem. It's something that, what did you say? Not a problem. You said, oh, it's a challenge. It's something that's a challenge for me. And that simple adjustment of language, I went away to lunch and I called 4 people and I'm like, hey friends, we need to change our energy. We need to change our outlook. We are solution-driven people. We do not need to do things the way society tells us to do things. This checklist that we feel like we need to fall under, this 10-minute conversation we had, it changed up everything. So I'm so thankful for the gems. I feel like I'm going to go back and make a whole new to-do list that's based on how I need to do things, a different way of looking at things, and I'm just so thankful. So thank you, Dr. Vibe.
Thank you, Paige. All right. Mom More Than a Mom, good stuff. And Fitness IQ says, ooh, new commercials? Yes. Got to change it up. And Minnie and Cam goes, Cam, yes, they used this one last week. Yes. And some more stuff to come. We're ever evolving on the Morning Vibe. Okay. So different conversation topic, and not as happy as one. I was in a conversation with some individuals last Friday, and one of the individuals brought to my attention that Louis March, for those who don't know the name, definitely a leader in the African Canadian community, especially in the Toronto area, had suffered a stroke.
Okay.
And was in intensive care. And I've known Louis for a long time. He has an organization, and he's been on the platform a few times, called the Zero Gun Violence Movement, in regards to eradicating as much as possible gun violence, especially in the African Canadian, but in all communities. And when I heard that, I sort of had a freeze moment, because Louis does not have a car. He travels all around the city of Toronto and other places via transit, or people give him rides.
Right.
And there's many a time after an event that him and I were together, I drive him home and we have some great conversation. He lives about 15 minutes drive from where I live. When I heard that sort of froze me for a little bit. I've got a little bit more update in that basically he's been in intensive care for now over a week. I did hear that he suffered this stroke over a week ago. He's been in life support since. So whenever I chat I always introduce him as Dr. March, because I don't know what I've done to earn this.
Yes.
But he would always end his conversations with me saying, he always say, I keep fighting. So I want to say to Louis, and if though anyone who is a prayerful person, pray for him and his family. It's the doctors don't say it's looking great, but I don't know, Ryan, if you've heard anything additional or different than what I've heard.
No, and was it that he had a heart attack before?
I did find out in conversations this was not his first heart ailment challenge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and again, I hadn't met his family, so our heart from our family is definitely going out to his. And these types of times, the world stops for our family, you know, and especially that we're hearing it's not looking good. It was, yeah, that, I mean, when I heard on Friday evening that this was happening, and I thought it just happened. No. So to know that he's been battling it,
yeah over a week. Hard. Yeah, and it, and the family has kept quite quiet about it, understandably so.
Yeah,
but it's beginning to trickle out. There's been individuals like Robert Small who have been putting some posts on his Facebook page. The gentleman, it was a real sort of wow. Danny Stone, who's a member of the Zero Gun Violence movement, and I know a little bit. He's been posting some stuff in regards to prayers for Louis. So keep fighting, Louis.
100%.
Keep fighting. And it's been interesting. I've been involved in some conversations. Won't get too deep into it, but people are asking some requests of me that I'm doing some meditation on. I'll just leave it at that for now in regards to this. But we want Louis to keep fighting. Again, if you ever met him, you know Louis is a great guy.
Absolutely.
Actually, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's interesting now you start to think of, elder, true leader passing, but then passing the baton to who? Like the type of work that he's been doing, who can keep it going? And I remember when Charles Roach had passed, and that same conversation was like, now who's really gonna step up to keep the fight going? And again, zero gun violence is so important. You don't want something like that to kind of fall away.
I'm a firm believer that every success needs a successor, and definitely Louis is the face of, and it is the face. Let's say what is the face of zero gun violence, because we're not speaking anything of him transitioning yet. I was gonna say something I can't remember, but and that organization has done so much great heart work just in the last year. So they developed a partnership with the Toronto Raptors, which is a really big thing. But
you wouldn't say it's an organization; you'd say it's a movement.
Yeah, sorry, correction. It's a movement.
Yes.
I know you and him went back and forth.
When he was on, yes.
You went back and forth with that. So this is going to be, it's a very quiet and solemn time in the African Canadian community, especially in the Toronto African Canadian community in regards to Elder March. So we will keep you updated on whatever we hear in regards to Elder March, but definitely avoid right now. And a lot of people in prayer and thought. Again, if you got anyone is up to it, certainly make a thought about it. This weekend, well, sort of you turn it around. Lots of things going on in the city this weekend. There was a big was a Little Jamaica celebration that was going on this weekend. I think it was Saturday, and I think it was Saturday and Sunday. I saw some pictures. I think there was and like rumor had it, they were like 40,000 people.
Come on.
I'm hearing some down in Little Jamaica this weekend.
Yes,
I just saw pictures of it. I went, what?
That is awesome.
What?
I love that.
40,000 people?
Yeah.
That is crazy. Yes, Fitness IQ goes. I saw that. Beautiful. Yeah. So congratulations. Though What is Little Jamaica's future?
I mean, construction's technically done, so it is, and that's great to hear that type of event started to bring people back, because I think people need to see that Little Jamaica is open for business. I feel we've seen it closed, not closed, but under renovations for so long, you forget that you can now go back, and the Eglinton Strip, you can actually drive through it now. It's like, it's not.
So the construction is done?
Like street level. So there's no, that I've seen as I'm driving through, like the stations, they're still finishing the station that's at Oakwood, but the one at Bathurst and Eglinton, that intersection's back open. You can actually turn left there.
Yes.
That intersection was
a mess. That was a mess.
A total disaster.
Mess.
For years.
Mess. And that's another thing. Why did this construction take so long? And Ryan, you know what? Something you and I need to do? We need to, if it ever opens, ride on the LRT, whatever decade that is.
From end to end. Yes. Because are even sections of it open? I don't know. I heard that they were testing trains, but I don't know of any section of, and it runs from, that would be like Little Jamaica, so like Kiel and Eglinton, all the way into Scarborough. Like, so this isn't like a short section. I think the Finch one's a bit shorter, but this goes far. And I don't know if any parts of it are open yet.
None.
And it's been over, is it over 10 years it's been?
None.
It's either getting close to 10 years. I think it was about, it's getting over 10 years. And it was supposed to be a 5-year project? It's like, man.
How much wasted tax dollars gone into that project? Like I like it. Whenever I see it, I just go, really? Are you going to open one day?
And they won't even give a timeline for when they think it's going to be finished.
I have a difficulty. Yeah. I have a real difficulty with that, because you run an organization, and if people, right, and if people ask you, Brian, when's something get done? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, like for art, exactly. It's like, hey, we heard that you're working on this project, so when are you gonna finish it? It's like, well, we had to extend the timelines, but we can't really tell you when it's going to be done. Like, our funders would not but this happens quite often with government contracts for construction. Unionville Station was pushed back and went over budget. St. Clair, when they did the LRT on St. Clair, they found a lot of issues underground, so they had somewhat of a reason for the delay, but still over budget, over timelines. And now, but I feel like the Finch one is almost done. I don't know that one, and that started after the Eglinton LRT, and that one looks like it's close to finish. So,
all right,
whoever's in charge, crosslinks.
Fitnets like you goes 5-year project, my backside. And so, Tim, you were getting to what is going on in my alleged mind. Office of the Tim Frey says, question, does anyone know what percentage of the property in Little Jamaica is owned by Black owners? That's where I was getting to.
Interesting.
Because it's great to have your celebrations. Celebrations are over now. What next?
And you know who we should have on the show? The group, the Black Urbanism TO group that's putting together a land trust in Little Jamaica.
If you have contact information, either you want to reach out to them, I'd love to have them on the show, right?
Because to answer the question from the office of Tim Frey, the percentage is low from what I know. If it's 10%, I'd be shocked.
That'd be high, I think.
And even I've known at least one person that did own a building on Little Jamaica, and unfortunately they lost it because the business had to close. So whatever the percentage was before the construction was happening, it's now even lower. And I'm not sure if Randy's Patties, if they had owned that building. I'm not sure if they still do.
Okay, all I'm gonna say, if I'll put it out there, Randy's is back open.
Where?
Same place.
The same place? Come on. Okay. I saw rumors of coming back and coming soon, but it's open?
Someone called me on the weekend and told me that it is open.
Wow. They
So
didn't
Randy's
do like a grand reopening. They just said, "Hey, we'll open back the doors."
Yeah, they are back
It
open.
was like Jay-Z retire and then come back out of retirement.
I have no idea. So Fitness IQ says they need to have some Korean or other Asian countries that know how to build quick.
Oh boy.
The McMillan. Oh, good morning, the McMillan Group. Good morning, Ray, as always. Good. He says every infrastructure project will also go over budget. The timelines are always extended. Office of Tim Frey reminds me of Little Burgundy from Montreal again. Minnie on Cam says, yes, Randy's had pics on social media. It's open.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then the McMillan Group goes possibly 5 to 10% since there are 45 Black-owned businesses in Little Jamaica.
Okay.
So, that's where things stand in regards to what's going on in Little Jamaica. And it's, it'd be a very interesting, and I'm sure that information could be gotten though. What percentage is owned?
Yeah, true.
It's somewhere.
Well, the BIA, I wonder if the BIA would know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they would know who owns the building. So
yeah,
the BIA in that area would know.
Randy's is back open, man.
Gotcha. Well, hey, that's good to see. They just needed a break.
Absolutely. That's 100%. And actually, yesterday, okay, so Minion, look at this. Minion Cam is on fire. Blog TO had an article on Randy's being open from 2 days ago, which is interesting. There is a white-owned media outlet who gets the story, and
I had no idea. Like, I'm curious if they reached out to buy blacks. That would have been a great story.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I just going back to the BBPA story, I have to say I'm humbled, and because of all of you, that was the first interview the BBPA has done since the allegations. And at least they did it on a Black-owned, Black representing platform. So I will have to say thank you so much for that, and congratulate everyone who's watching here that they felt that they'd like to share it on the platform. But yeah, those are the type of things we'd like in Black-owned media.
Absolutely.
Randy's opening up again.
Yeah, because that's exciting. And you would think they would want that message to get out to the Black community so that we can celebrate with them. And one thing I noticed, especially with media outlets, is the respect that the outlet puts on certain stories. And again, not to shift into what happened over the weekend with Trump, but the way certain media outlets are covering that assassination attempt is very intriguing to me, because some come from the perspective of like he brought it on himself, and others are coming from the perspective of we're in civil war and the I'm like, what is happening it's so important where you get your news, because
I agree with you. I think it's also important to look at news from different sources to make up your own mind, right? So
that's true.
As we're transitioning to 45 being shot, okay, look at me on Cam. Just tagged the Dr. Vibe show on Randy's Instagram. Wow, man, we have a live social media correspondent. Thank you, Minnie. Thank you. So a little backdrop on the story about 45 assassination attempt so far. Let's go through that. We were on Saturday, on primetime Saturday, with Aisha and Lala, Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key, two African-American women. And the subtitle of the show is, they try to make sense of the nonsense that's going on politically and socially in America. So about 5 minutes before we go live, Lala says, 45's been shot, assassination. I'll go, oh wow. So that we went right live with the comments on it.
Yes.
We went right live on it, and it was just so interesting. And family, America is from my lens, America's in civil war and has been for a long time.
Okay.
And it's interesting. Fitness, because I have to watch the replay. Oh yeah, it's an interesting replay because we intermix that compared to also what's going on with Mr. Biden. I think in a funny way, this is good news for Mr. Biden because the attention's not on him anymore.
But I'm hearing some, I would say, experts say this type of event will allow Trump to win because I'm hoping Biden's not relaxing because the fact that the attention's on Trump and it's sympathetic and his base is now like super charged and pissed off, everything, all that momentum is going to push him right back into the White House. So whoever's idea it was to try and take this man out, it is 100%
but allegedly the shooter was a Republican.
Wow.
Right? Was a Republican.
So this is interesting because the fact that a lot of the Republicans and people that were on TV shows went straight to thinking that it was a Democrat side that tried to, and I was thinking that's not very American. Like,
but they had no proof. They were making these allegations.
Usually, when something like that happens, you initially think it's outside influence.
Opposition.
Like when 9/11 happened, I didn't see everybody thinking like, "Oh, who in America would do this?" It was like, "Who's attacking us?" Now, when something bad happens, they're automatically thinking, "Okay, who's attacking each other?" Like it's all infighting. So I heard people saying like, "Oh, this is the Democrats getting back," but now to hear that this man possibly is a Republican,
he's a registered Republican carrying an AR-15 that was bought by his father, and Wisconsin is an open carry state.
I don't doubt it. So
it is an open carry state.
Oh, so that's where he's from, Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's an open carry. So in Wisconsin, you can openly carry guns in public.
Wow. And for those, I think the rally was in Pennsylvania?
No, it was in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was in Wisconsin. Okay, let's just catch up on some comments here. We'll continue on with about 45. Minion Cam says, Fitness IQ Cam, my friend sent me a link to 45. I have to rewind it. So I guess you're talking about last night's conversation. Hayden Morrison, it is important to remember that little JA started at a time when people just wanted to make a little shop to make some money independently. Sadly, they weren't thinking ownership and business. Minion Cam says, Hayden Morrison, many black businesses think of survival first and legacy later. Frequency event promotions, long time no chat. Hope you're doing okay. Says good day, Dr. Vibe and Ryan. Hayden Morrison says, true dat mini. Frequency event promotion says about Matt Randy's, make patties great again.
Well, what I forget who made the comment, but about Minion Cam saying they're thinking of survival and not legacy. That issue is what I push back with Perry Douglas about, because when people are running their business and in survival mode, you need organizations to then coach and guide people to start thinking about ownership and to start thinking about legacy. A lot of times we're not able to think about it ourselves because we're so in the work that you need entities, and it may be a nonprofit, it may be a mentor that you're able to engage with, but you need somebody to show you what's possible. And a lot of times being exposed to it, then you're able to start planning for it. But if we don't get this information to business owners to say like, hey, this is possible. Yes, you started just to make a little side money, but you have the ability to purchase the building that you're in. And especially if we come together, those things can happen. But if the conversation doesn't happen, then we see what's happening right now, low ownership.
we'll bring on another conversation point. It's going to come in just a second, built on this. Let's catch up on more comments. Fitness IQ Cam says, good point, Hayden. Minion Cam says, Hayden, Mr. Jerk was one they could have bought their building, but they moved. Fitness IQ says the rally was held in Pennsylvania.
Okay, right.
No, it was not in Pennsylvania because, or maybe it was because the because the Republican convention is being held in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think it was in Wisconsin. Yeah, I think. I'll fact check that as we're on the conversation right now. Peyton Morrison says, but by the way, Minnie, we rarely ever think of legacy. Frequency Event Promotion says patties are such a go-to meal now. Nowadays, we buy Tinnell's patties now. Okay, JJ Mars, good question. As an American, what are the gun laws in Canada? Well, I know a little bit. We don't have open carry laws in Canada. That we have, but good point that just in the Toronto area, gun violence has escalated greatly this year compared to last year. And that's a little bit of a promo for me or for us. I'm actually hosting a show a week from this Thursday about the gun violence culture in Toronto. Going to be bringing on some individuals who were or are involved. They won't be showing their faces on screen. Okay, was Pennsylvania? Okay, somehow I thought it was Wisconsin, but that's where
probably because the convention
starts today in Wisconsin. So thank you, I'm corrected. So we don't have open carry laws, but gun violence, at least in the Toronto area, has been a long time concern, and it's become a growing concern. You know, we were talking about Louis March earlier on. That's one of the reasons why the zero gun violence movement came into existence, because a few years ago in the Toronto area, we had something called the Summer of the Gun.
Right.
And the number, as I said, the number of gun incidents in the Toronto area, metropolitan, has grown, it's up over 200% from last year. There was a cool down, but it's back up again this year. So that is about the gun laws in Canada. Mini on Cam says, JG Mars, we could own, but there's a lot of permits and regulations. So there's much more permits and regulations on this side of the border than in the US. And it just bothers, like, I know how I'd be walking around and seeing people just openly carrying guns. I don't know if I'd like that too much.
Man, it definitely changes your perspective on. I remember being where was I? In Philadelphia, and you'll be on a corner and just having regular conversation, and then like somebody's shirt moves, and you see that they have a gun, and you're just like, yeah, that is normal in the US for a person to just have it on them.
Well, there's an update on that, a little bit update on that. So Dr. Tachi says, good morning, all. Good morning, Dr. Tachi. Good to see you as always. Indie Soup Media. Fitness IQ Cam says, no, I don't know what no means. But I guess she's saying, yes, Penn State, Pennsylvania. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
She disagreed with me. Yeah, she said, all right. Now, the Macmillan Group, Ray says, gun licensing in the U.S. varies by state. New York is pretty stringent. There are other states that are not so stringent.
Right.
Okay, so Scott Gree says it's Pennsylvania. Bro, just use Google. I'm trying to host a conversation, manage comments. Give me a little grace.
Yes.
Please. Okay,
the audience Google.
Yes, the audience Google. Yes, the audience chat GPT.
Yes.
Vibe morning vibe GPT.
Yeah.
Morning Moi Fung says it was Pennsylvania. Thank you. Good to see you, Moi Fung. Good to see you. And Dr. Tachi says the southern states love guns. And then also Moi Fung says, good morning, by the way, Vibe and Ryan. So you were talking about ownership. And during the debate, the last presidential debate, 45 said, there's a lot of black jobs.
Oh, that was golden. It's become a whole like hashtag trend where people are showing them in their black jobs. It's like, what and it's wild when it comes out of his mouth. He thinks he is speaking intelligently, and it just makes him sound dumb when you try to put labels on things that do not have labels. And so it's like that question, that's where, because Joe Biden was sleeping, he wasn't really able to push back, and almost kind of went along with it to say like, oh no, black jobs are safe. And it's like, what are we even talking about? Like, we've lost all context of the conversation when you say dumb stuff like that.
Yeah, but in one way, 45 was right, because they are black jobs. They're not allowed to have any other sort of jobs because of number of different issues. But let's stop talking about black jobs. Let's start talking about black ownership.
Absolutely. I would love to hear their plan for that.
That's where the conversation needs to go, to black ownership, not black jobs. But in a way, 45 was right. Yeah. There's a lot of black jobs. That's what we give them. They got their jobs. That's their place.
But he was saying that immigrants are coming in to take black jobs. So that's where you have to define, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but it was a very smart move, though. This is what he was trying to do. He's trying to increase the black vote that he's getting. So again, this is the thing. The Republican Party is very anti-immigration, kick the people out, etc., and all that. So it was a smart move politically to try to grow your base with African Americans, saying, "Hey, these people that are coming, they're taking your black jobs."
True.
Now, many people will just be emotional and go, "Yeah, brother," go, "Yeah, man, they're taking our jobs." Saying, "Okay, hold on. You aren't wanting us to get anything further than these jobs."
Exactly. That's why the ownership is key.
Right? You're not thinking like, yeah, this is all we want you to have. Your black job. Nothing about black ownership. Let's continue on with comments. Hayden Moore says Ryan is absolutely right. For many, legacy thinking is a big part of our culture. Ray says the Macmillan Group, it's also normal in the Caribbean, Ryan. Quite normal to have concealed carry in the Caribbean. Okay, Fitness IQ Cam goes, I heard in the California, you stand in line, do a test. If you pass, boom, bam. Okay.
To get a gun?
I
guess the process.
Yeah. Frequency Event Promotion says, have a good day, gentlemen. Great show to add. Have a productive week. Same. Good to have you back. Haven't seen a minute. And Minnie on Camp says, yes, they strive for that government job, but rarely own a corporation. And here's another interesting thing. One of the big things that's come up, there's now the American Election Campaign, is a document called Project 2025.
Okay, right.
Written by a certain group that's saying that 45 is going to put this in place. One of the things that Project 2025 is proposing is that the American civil service will be totally gutted, and the choices of who works in the civil service at the federal level will be made by the president. Will decide who gets the jobs. So, so that when 45 comes back in, it's not. I don't know how many black people are going to have jobs if they have control of the civil service. Also, Project 2025 wants to get rid of the Department of Education.
Oh boy, I didn't realize the Department of Education isn't as old as I think it started in the 80s, the 70s or 80s, and I had thought this was a department that was hundreds of years old, but that whole process of the government, steering education is relatively new. So them getting rid of it is gonna take us back to the 70s.
Well, it's interesting. Again, and I watch different media sources, people, and one of the people I hadn't checked out for a long time, Dr. Umar Johnson.
Okay, yes.
And he was on recently last week, he was on the Breakfast Club. I would suggest people check out that interview.
Okay.
That what he touched everything from the election to something he calls bunny hopping. I won't if you don't know what that is, I'm not going to explain that here. Bunny hopping. He did put on a point, and Umar Johnson, whether you like him or not, he's a great speaker.
Yes, yes.
He's an incredible orator. And one of the things he said is that education is not guaranteed in the United States Constitution.
Ah, right.
Right? It's a fascinating conversation.
Mm.
Like, I've watched it a few times. Wow, it was fire. It was fire. He talked about everything about, single black mothers, young black boys, single black family. It was a phenomenal conversation. Okay, let's go back to Fitness IQ Cam to get a gun license. Sorry, typing too fast. Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. We'll get to Macmillan Group in just a second. We'll go to Dr. Tachi. That was a stupid move on his part. We have proven that we are excellent and far more educated. So his comments are coming from the 1940s era stereotypes that he refuses to let go. Well, I think there's a number of Americans that refuse to let it go.
Yeah, he's speaking for a large amount of people.
Yes, because they feel that their country's being stolen.
Right.
And interesting. That's a whole. Scott Greaves, welcome, Scott Greaves. I don't know if we've seen you here before. When did 45 say he didn't want black ownership? You are all delusional when it comes to the 45 derangement LMOA. Okay, Doc. Obviously,
hold on. We never said that he didn't want black ownership. We said he didn't create any or say any plan to help with black ownership. All he was talking about was black jobs. So, thanks, Scott. I appreciate the comment.
All right. Dr. Tachi says that here's in fact, the U.S. Department of Education was founded just in 1979.
Look at that.
Wow.
You would have thought that was something that was in place from time. So the fact that Dr. Umar Johnson saying it wasn't in the Constitution, the U.S. government didn't see any reason to even be involved because it isn't something that is ingrained right. And look at that. Fitness
IQ Ken goes, bah, bunny hopping. I think you know what I mean. What you mean by that? So Scott Greaves says Project 25 is not the official platform of the Republican Party. More false information that's based in fear. Okay. I have read a number of published reports saying that a number of the people who have written that document were or are if projected to be future staffers of 45's administration if he comes in. So I'll just leave it at that. Minion Cam says,
and just real quick, nobody said that it was the platform of the Republican Party. What we said is that Project 25 was something that they want to put in place if a Republican president, because it's a complete external entity, and I think billionaires and it's just a group of people that have put together that Project 25. So it's, do they have enough influence to actually sway the president and the Republican Party to put something like that in place?
So again, I've seen reports saying yes, that and 45 says I know nothing about it, which is quite interesting.
Right.
That's not a alleged thing. So again, things just going back and forth, push back and forth. There's they said, and then there's the truth, right? So who knows? Minion Camp says even his stereotypes on mental illness. Now that is a concern that she has brought up about 45's comments about mental illness.
Right.
And then, JJ Marr says it's a shadow agenda, this Project 2025. So I'm saying it's going to be very, very interesting what goes on in the next. This convention is going to be interesting. I think, Dr. Tachi says, right, the so-called Heritage Foundation is responsible. So that's the organization that has drawn up that document. And believe it, it's not a light read, family. It's 900 pages long.
Wow. All right. Jeez.
900 pages long. Let's go back to a comment earlier on by the Macmillan Group. What exactly is a black job?
Well, I I couldn't tell you. That's why it was interesting that he said that, because now even with other communities, like, how do you place what is an Asian job, what is a Latino job, what is, like, you can't put that type of label. But he tried to do it with the Black community, so that's where we need to pressure him to explain. And that's what the moderator is doing. Like, as soon as he said that, like, oh, former President Trump, can you explain to us what a Black job is, so that the rest of the country could understand the statement? That, I don't know how you would even explain that.
Yeah, well, there were a number of people that criticized the debate format, the debate itself. Not only that, but also Biden's performance and also the format.
Yeah.
Office of Tim Frey says Heritage Foundation and their large advocacy reach and lobbying is pushing Project 2025. So when a major conservative organization is lobbying for Project 2025, it's about their platform. Okay. Dr. Tati says, I think there's too much emphasis being placed on whether or not Project 2025 is official. Things can be law of the land or be used as law without being official.
Well, that is the whole role of lobbying, is to, like, special interest groups lobby the government to get things put in place that further their interests. So all these research firms, all, like, foundations that do these research and come out with, a lot of people have strategies and recommendations for the political parties in Canada and in the US. So Project 25 is just one of them, but it's the fact that what's in it is very disturbing. And then, do they have the weight to actually influence whoever gets in? That's what's at, like, it's not new that an organization is putting forward the recommendations that they want to see. I'm sure the Ku Klux Klan has their own project that they want to see happen in America. Do they have the influence to get it done? Maybe not as much as they used to have, but these are things that are always out there. And the fact that this one's public and you can read it, and if you don't like it, that's what might be pushed for the Republican Party. It's not, and that's where Scott was saying, like, oh, we're not saying it's their current platform, but it's, are they influential enough to influence the platform when they do get in power? So I'd be curious to see what Democratic organizations and what their recommendations are.
Oh, they're pushing. Well, for a lot of people who support the Democratic Party, why haven't you been talking about this forever? This document's been around for a long time. It became to the forefront of all things when Taraji P. Henson on the BET Awards went right in on Project 2025 on that. And that's when it became, right? So JG Mars says Black jobs tend to be an occupational segregation issue. Dr. Tati says the thing is, Project 2025 has been in the works for quite some time. You don't get an extensive document like that by just starting it last month.
Right.
Yes. Ada Morrison says a Black job is a racist view on where they think Black people should be happy working. Okay. And Dr. Tati says just starting added on there. But yeah, now, folks, again, if you got some time, like, I know the two ladies on Primetime Saturday, well, especially Aisha, has gone through all 900 pages.
Wow. That's dedication. I love it.
Right?
Yes.
So that has been quite due. And also people who are on the northern side of the 49th parallel in Canada, you should be paying attention to what's going on in that election.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever the result is, again, it's like when the U.S. sneezes, Canada catches a cold. So it's gonna impact us whether we like it or not. That is, the impact of all those things that are going on, especially in the United States of America. Oh, I got to give a shout out. The Cornwall College.
Okay.
Oh, so Scott Grease says the platform will officially be set at the Republican primary. I'd be very interested to see. Are you talking about the convention this week? That's another funny thing. The official Republican Party platform, it's very vague, very general, very general. I'm going to be very interested to see if they, during their convention, will adopt Project 2025, because then that may not be the greatest strategic move, because 45 says he says he knows nothing about it, which is, yeah, whatever, you know nothing about it. And I'm just trying to be as neutral as possible here. Come on, you know something about it.
But I doubt that they would adopt it. That wouldn't be something that they would do publicly, because that would be adopting one organization out of all of the U.S., their recommendations. I highly doubt that you will see that.
Okay. Office of the Tim Frey says this: 45 is still living in the Jim Crow era, where there was, quote, black jobs, unquote, and, quote, white jobs, unquote, clearly stated and regulated. You know what, Tim? I hear that, but I'm going to say this, and I may get some pushback. I think a number of Americans are still living in that era.
He speaks for a lot of people that want to see us in a certain space and not fully integrated. And it's unfortunate.
And I may be controversial here when I'm going to say this, but when they say they want their country back, do they not realize that they took their country from another group of people? I'm just putting it out there. That may be controversial, but the people who say, let's make, we want our country back.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you take it from somebody? A group of people called the American Indian?
Mm.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying. All right. Dr. Tachi says, the world, however, tends to be too tied to what happens in U.S. politics. If we are powerful, it's because we have given them the power. Okay. Scott Grease says, yes, the convention. Scott, I'm watching. I'll be very interested to see if they put out during the convention, because if you think it's really contentious now, if the Republicans adopt that as their platform, game is really on.
Mm.
Right? Dr. Tachi says, I think he speaks, and I think she's referring 45 for a number of people, but not the majority. The majority are just too chicken to call them out on it under the guise of keeping peace. People also like that turn their backs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, this Project 2025. Hot topic. Oh, I did want to shout out the Cornwall College Old Boys Association.
Mm-hmm.
They had their annual family and fun day yesterday. Great turnout, even though it rained for about half an hour, 45 minutes. Was a great turnout, and they actually had some members there who originally formed the organization back in 1976 there.
Come on, that's amazing.
It was a great event. Good fun. Of course, a lot of good food. But it was a good time. Also shouting out Carolyn Nicole and her team that are right now in Cuba on a holistic missionary trip, providing food, supplies, and nutrition to some of the inhabitants of the island. Members or inhabitants of the island of Cuba. I saw a few pictures there. So that was, they got there safe. They're having a great time. And now by the time we come back on Friday, they'll be on their way back to home. So big shout out to Carolyn and all the fantastic hard work her and her team are doing in Cuba. Ryan, what's going on? Oh, actually, one other thing. Don't know as much as you can, how are things going on with the ecosystem?
Yeah, so right now, people are kind of finishing their last projects as the official end to the Black entrepreneurship ecosystem. Technically, the full program is done this December. So talks of renewal of the ecosystem has not been fruitful. So there's no official announcement from the government that's going to be renewed. We do have our final conference happening in October. So great time for people interested to learn what had happened over the last 3 years. It would be great. So save the date for October the 28th in Ottawa. But beyond that, I know the Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub is doing their survey of the ecosystem, their SWAP, the Survey with a Purpose campaign. So I think it might have ended June 30th, but I think they might have extended it just to get a few more results. But yeah, right now everybody's just executing their projects and wait and see if Minister Richie Valdez, the Minister of Small Business, can come through for the Black entrepreneurship community to get the Prime Minister to renew this program and make sure it's bigger so that more organizations and more entrepreneurs can be supported.
You, as always, have an option whether you want to answer this or not. How much has the allegations of the BBPA impacted the ecosystem in any way?
That's a good question. I mean, we meet monthly, so we've definitely talked about it. I don't think it's impacted this specific funding, only unless they use it as an excuse to not renew it, which is always a possibility. But really, it had an end date, so anything that's happened in between. But now, when we report and show, okay, over these last 3 years, what has happened, if their investigation shows that money from that program was misappropriated, then I think it'd be a big problem. If it doesn't show that, then I don't think it'll have an issue, unless a perception is out there that government funds are being misused. But we haven't heard that come up. Again, that wouldn't be a conversation that government officials would have with me. So
okay,
I'm curious to see what they're thinking as this is all kind of, and the CBC seems to be very out to expose the BBPA and former CEOs. So we'll see if they're pushing for any way for that to go, because that's one thing that even when the funding first was announced, I mean, the Globe and Mail and the CBC did reports about it. So let's see who's actually on our side. And they show it in true living color who's actually for you and with you.
100%. 100%. Well, thanks for giving us an update to the best of your abilities in regards to that. What do you have coming up for the rest of the week?
So for those that missed the car wash training day on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday we'll be back at Malvern Town Center in the
Good. So what time? What time?
We're trying at 12 to 4. So
I'm looking to be there.
Yeah, we're gonna send that out. And for the rest of the week, it's really go time admin-wise, looking for great days to be out cleaning cars and working with the youth entrepreneurs and some of the new employees that we have. So exciting time. I love the sun. Like you said, It rains periodically, but I'd rather the heat, even if it's intense and humid, over the cold. So I never complain about the sun shining.
100%. Yeah, we've had some good heat in Toronto. It doesn't last long, so you got to take advantage of it big time. Well, look, I want to thank everyone who took time to hang out with us this morning. We covered a various amounts of things, so thanks for your contributions. So a few things before we shut it down. Again, as always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Please do that if you're up to it. 1,500. I want a solid 1,500. I don't want no bots. I want a solid 1,500. So let's keep it going. And I'd say within the next 2 weeks, we'll be doing a giveaway. So I'll certainly announce it ahead of time. And the only way you'll be able to win is if you're on the live when we're doing the giveaway.
Nice. Okay.
Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you want to advertise your business product or service on the show, please email me dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Also, join our Discord group. I got to catch up on that big time. I got to get some more stuff going on there. If you want to get a hold of Ryan, RyanO'NeillKnight.com, LinkedIn, Ryan O'Neill Knight, Instagram, Ryan.Knight99, and then work with me, Ryan O'Neill Knight. If you want to get in touch with, actually, during the event I was at yesterday, I was speaking with an entrepreneur that's getting help from Chris Beth. They're building.
Excellent.
Actually, her team is building an app for Chris Betts is building an app for them. So that's great. You can watch.
For those that don't know, Chris Beth is from Empowered Forex, so a co-working and business consultancy firm in Brampton.
100%. Also, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, Afro Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, and Ryan O'Neill Knight, YouTube. So that's it. We got a few more last comments. All right. Hayden Morrison says, it is important to remember that the CBC got destroyed because someone took it to them. Sean D. Freitas is saying, is the CBC pushing a narrative, systemic racism? Fitness IQ is asking, Ryan, see you on Friday. Are you going to be here? Because he's saying the last 2 Fridays you have not been here.
Oh, right.
He's asking if you're going to be here.
The plan is yes.
Okay, there you go, Fitness IQ Cam. The plan is yes. All right, so that is it. We are done. Thanks for everyone watching live on the replay. And I also want to say a shout out, Sean DeFritas, you've been here last Friday, this Monday. So thanks for being here. I hope you're subscribing. And, you know, Sean DeFritas does great stuff, great stuff. So check him out. All right, we are done. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger, block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourselves grace. And again, congratulations to the new addition to Uncle Ryan's posse. That's hey, by the way, what's your son up to this summer?
He is into soccer, and we're gonna get him, but he's enjoying basketball too. So we'll try and find one of the basketball camps. And his Jasmine and Christian, their swimming lessons. We got to get them on point in the pool.
Well, here's pop quiz and well, how many people know how to swim?
Yeah.
How many people know how to swim? That's all.
I can swim, but it's like low level. Yeah, but I can definitely I can do a lap across the pool. So
as long as okay, good. And is that without the inflatables on?
Thank you very much. Yes.
All right, 2 other things. Oh, Dr. Chachi says, thanks so much, Dr. Vibe. And Ryan, thank you, Dr. Chachi, for putting replays of this conversation on your platform. And Mignon Camp says, I didn't get a pass level 1 for swimming. I think you're not the only one.
Right.
You're not the only one. So that's it, family. We are done. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday. Catch us in between. Catch us on the Discord channel. And remember to take care of yourselves.
Yes.
Oh, actually, I want to. Did I get update? I think I updated about a gentleman I met who was homeless. I was able to get him some shelter. So that, but you never know what's going on underneath people's exterior. So, all right, give yourselves grace. See ya.